Hey VC, Kimbo here, coming at you with an official entry for Isaac at the Blind Islands 217 contest. Isaac wants us to show two representing two different albums from the same band that have a different sound or sound different. One is a song under a minute, and then 7 for a song that is 7 minutes, and talk about those. I believe I'm the defending champion of Isaac's last contest, so I had to get an entry in, or at least it was the contest before. I don't know, but I have won one of Isaac's contests before, so excited to get an entry in. Isaac is super knowledgeable on music. I think most of you are probably familiar with his station, his channel. Super knowledgeable. One thing that I know that Isaac and I collect similar is surf music. He's done a few videos on surf music. And if you look up here, right here is my new surf music area. And one of these days, I'll do a show on that for you. So anyway, so starting with number 1 is the two albums from the band. So I picked the Rolling Stones and Satanic Majesty's Request. It has a lot of songs you're familiar with here. 2000 Man, In Another Land, She's a Rainbow, 2000 Light Years from Home. Very psych-oriented album, and it came out in 1967-ish. And then I chose about 10 years later, maybe 11 years, 1977. They came out with Some Girls, which mostly they're kind of typical R&B based music. Some of it, songs like Miss You, and some were saying we're almost kind of disco, or they did disco mixes of Miss You. But the rest of it basically kind of R&B rock bass, but most of their other stuff is related to. So those are the two albums with different sounds. The next one is a song that's under a minute, and what I chose was the Evaporators. This is the Evaporators album, United Empire Loyalists. And this album here folds out into a poster. Let me back up and you can see that. And then the other thing that's kind of interesting about the Evaporators that you may or may not know is this guy right here. I don't know if you can see that, the singer, and it says Nardwuar. And if you're familiar with Nardwuar, he's the Vancouver, BC native that does a lot of interviews on YouTube with, quite a few famous musicians and such. But he's the singer, and it's on Nardwuar Records. And the song I chose was let's see, I'm Going to France, which is on the side. You probably can't see that. It's the last song on side Nard. It's called, there's side Nard and side War, but it's the last song. It's actually 1:15 on here, but he actually spends some time to introduce it by the United States got the Statue of Liberty from France, so I'm going to France. And that's pretty much all he says throughout the whole minute and 15 seconds of the song is I'm going to France, I'm going to France. So they're kind of a punk, kind of post-punk band. That's my 1 minute song. And then the last item was a 7 minute song. And what I've selected for that was a band called the Electric Flag. If you're not familiar with the Electric Flag, it featured Buddy Miles on drum, and for one or two of their albums had Mike Bloomfield on guitar. I think he left just before this album came out, but they're kind of a funk, soul, rock type band. And what I chose for the song is called Qualified, first song on side 2, and it's 708. And let's see, I don't even know if you can read that, probably not, but nice, got a nice jam in it, good song. So that is it for my entry. Good luck with the contest, Isaac. If you're not subscribed to Isaac's channel, please subscribe. I will leave a link below. It's a great channel, and we will see you all later.
Oh, I think that's a wonderful organization.
Are you involved with it, or?
I haven't been.
Hi, Mr. Quill. Who's the Prime Minister of Canada?
Prime Minister of Canada just had the President Clinton up there for a address, and it's one thing that George Bush didn't do. Mulroney did not invite him up, but you now have a new Prime Minister of Canada.
The Statue of Liberty was donated to the United States of America by France, and therefore, I'm going to France!